Hytale just revealed its new world generation, and it is no exaggeration when I say that this will fundamentally change the gaming industry forever. Not only do we get a dozen of visually stunning examples of this new world generation, but the way that you can manipulate the world gen for yourself is the real key to all of this. And yes, I really mean you, and not some experienced modder with 10 years of coding behind them. Let's start at what this world gen even is. Right now, Hytale has two world generation models, V1 and V2. V1 was developed from 2016 to 2020 and served as a prototype to understand the team's generation's needs. It produced playable results in exploration mode, but they eventually ended up hitting barriers when they tried to create more zones and more complex biomes. An example of this could be shown in old concept arts. The zone piece displayed the 4 we know today, but also teased a 5th and 6th zone. These were never revealed due to a multitude of reasons, but I can imagine that the limitations in V1 had something to do with this. Another is the alterverses concept art, which Simon actually teases again at the end of the blog post. The gameplay and screenshots we have seen are all from Orbis, but alterverses, or the other planets, can offer a brand new set of generation and world behaviors. Once again, the first version likely inhibited creativity and what was possible within the world of Hytale. V2 has been in development since 2021 to address those mentioned barriers and enable them to achieve their global design goals. V2 will completely replace V1 once they're ready, and will be the generator they support going forward. So when Hytale launches on January 13th, we will load into exploration mode and see the first generation of terrain. They're already working on getting V2 ready, and whenever it launches, V1 will simply stop generating. Meaning, if you play and explore 3,000 blocks in V1, whenever the switch happens, you will still have your world, and anything past those 3,000 blocks will hopefully seamlessly merge into V2. I'm sure we'll see a bunch of funny examples where this just won't be the case, and maybe we'll even do a video about the worst chunk failures. The team does mention that V2 is accessible at launch though, through something called gateways. So you'll be able to travel from your world of Orbis into fragments of a restored version of Orbis. Simon's mentioned that as a curse breaker, our goal is to restore Orbis. And if we put 2 and 2 together, the launch of V2 would make perfect sense to call a restored version of Orbis. Then, once the team is ready, they'll begin testing in a pre-release build for the world of Orbis. Let's actually talk about the generation itself, because we've seen some huge improvements compared to the previous screenshots we've seen before. Before we go into these changes, I want to clarify that while these are massive improvements to what was previously possible, these upgrades themselves are not necessarily revolutionary features that I introed the video with. I just had to get this out of the way because I can already see the comments saying, excuse me, how is this new? This just looks like the Terralith mod and we already had this. Just relax, we're gonna get to exactly what is revolutionary about this in the video. With that being said, V2 still looks phenomenal. I mean, this video is a perfect example of that. The flyover shows how the river has corroded the hillsides over time. We see environmental storytelling with this example. This terrain has been here for many centuries. The waves have crashed against the peaks and formed the land to what we see it be today. And it's exactly this attention to detail that the Hytale team emphasizes throughout the blog. Their goal is to make the world feel as curated and designed as possible, even though everything's randomly generated. A new technology they implemented in the second version is a pattern scanning system. The idea is that they can configure a pattern that determines where props are placed in the world. Typically, they would search for a floor, so an empty block with a solid block below, and then place a tree down. With this new system, they can also add additional checks to the pattern search to gather more context from the environment. These patterns are fully defined by the creator, which makes this powerful and opens vast possibilities. Take this screenshot for example. This darker leaved ash tree has large roots that only spawn if there's a cave below it. This allows Hytale to add natural markers for the player, where if they know the patterns, they can actually get more immersed and explore the world better. So if you know that the ash tree always spawns above these deep root caves that have a unique ore or something, you can easily track these down. They show off many other examples like this. This is an image of a log bridge that spawn across rivers by searching for 2 adjacent shores, or how they can choose to spawn yellow mushrooms and sticks around the base of cedar trees. The screenshots don't stop though. This time we can see glowing mushrooms coded for sheltered areas, or a meadow of flowers that spawn in a dip surrounded by small trees and boulders. With the new V2 tools, modders can mix and match world generation features way more easily. If you make a mod, it'll automatically work for Hytale's visual node editor and play nicely with both the base game and other mods. biomes. On top of that, a lot of heavy technical stuff is handled automatically behind the scenes. The game runs things in parallel and gives mods full awareness of the world around them, so modders can focus on making cool ideas instead of worrying about performance or complicated logic. This node editor is a game changer because it means that anyone can make content and modify the world gen without needing previous coding experience. The Hytale team plans on creating official tutorials for all their systems, and you should be able to create your own biomes and zones after just 1 or 2 videos. One of the coolest parts about this new node editor is that it's not just for making small tweaks. You can control the entire shape of a biome with high precision. You can even customize how the terrain looks as it reaches the edge of the biome to make the transitions between different areas look completely seamless. They also showed off material provider nodes, which let you set specific rules for when certain blocks show up. For example, you can tell the game to only spawn grass if there's at least 10 blocks of air above it, ensuring your caves don't accidentally end up with lush lawn inside. And if you're worried about having to build every single thing from scratch, don't be. The team is actually sharing every single biome they use for Orbis with the community. You'll be able to open their official files in the node editor to see exactly how they built them, modify them, or even just mash them together with your own ideas. They even showed some experimental packs, which I think look absolutely wild. Things like a stacked chaotic terrain, underwater cave shipwrecks, and even floating island. The keyword here is experimental. Thomas Frick, the art director, explicitly told Simon not to change the whale's scaling 1000x, and well, we know Simon likes to do whatever he likes to do and not get told by others. I think the most important takeaway from the blog is that this new approach is a fundamental shift away from worlds being shaped almost entirely by programmers. For the first time, artists and designers are taking full ownership of world generation. In fact, the team is so serious about this that they're creating a brand new job role, the world designer. They're planning to hire more than 15 of these world designers following the early access release. They want people who have learned and built things using these exact same tools to join the team and help shape the future of the Hytale. Their vision is to create a world that feels handcrafted while staying infinitely procedural. With these new tools, they're actually making it happen. It's an incredibly exciting time to be a part of the community, and I can't wait to see what everyone's going to be able to create with these tools. And I did mention that Simon teased the alterverses at the end of the blog, and that indeed he did. His last sentences said, "Not every concept will ship, but together they represent the direction we're taking as we continue to expand the game. The echoes of Orbis and Orbis are just the beginning of an amazing journey," with the picture of the alterverses concept art. So not every concept art is going to ship, and maybe not every planet on this alterverses concept art will even find the light of day. I'm hoping at least the name Torballen stays in because, well, I mean, it's just the best Alterverse name and it doesn't even come close. If you guys are just as excited as I am for Hytale, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be live every single day as of launch, streaming Hytale, making sure you guys get the best entertainment and also trying to push out videos. We'll see how that goes. I'll see you guys in the next few days as Hytale gets ever closer to releasing.